Hello, everybody. It's day 3 of the 9 blue candles. And we have the lovely Sheila from Celtic Tarot here to discuss her topic, whatever she wants to talk about that has to do with the candles. But as you know, we light the candles first and do the meditation. So I'm going to go over and light the candles, and I'm going to shift the camera so you can see them. And if you're lighting candles, yeah, now's the time to light it. And if you have your own intentions, you can be saying them while I'm talking about the intentions. And so that's day 1. And I also got a new Lazy Susan that's metal, so I won't burn my desk up. When you take up this lovely blue tablecloth, there's a big brown thing where I burnt the table once from one of these deals. So my kids said, "You're getting something metal, Mom. We're not going down with the ship." Anyway, okay. The act of lighting these candles serves as a metaphorical beacon, guiding our spirits to the next level of existence, fostering deeper connection with the universe. The blue light special upgrade that we're in right now signifies the transformative experience where our spirits become the catalyst for strengthening universal connections. During this ritual, we can focus our intention on personal growth, spiritual enlightenment, aligning our energies with the natural rhythms of the planet. It's a time for introspection, envisioning our desired future, seeking harmony with the world around us. It's a time to celebrate the growth and balance of the collective. By embracing this ritual, we are acknowledging the interconnectedness of all the life on Earth and channeling that awareness to elevate each of us on our own spiritual journey. It's a beautiful way to celebrate and embrace the cyclical nature of existence while seeking personal and collective growth. And that's it. And we will now cut back to Miss Sheila. And okay, Miss Sheila, let's go. It's go time, girl.
I'm here. I was just looking up the number 3 in numerology, where the number 3 has always been a powerful symbol. Thinking about good things coming in 3s, the birth life cycle, the mind, body, and soul, connection to the 3 acts of typical story. Whatever the number 3 shows up in your life is generally an omen of creativity, communication, optimism, and curiosity. So I just wanted to read
my life path number.
Is it yours? Mine's 7. Yeah, mine is the number 7. So while you were reading all of that, yes, I have been literally going through something pretty profound. We were talking. I had already done some shadow work, and I was doing some cord cutting and things like that I've been doing internally, because I just found out that my mother had died in October and my sister had died in May, and my sister was the only one that knew that my mother died, and she didn't tell any of her siblings. So there was a lot of that muckety muck that happened throughout all of that. Now, my mother had dementia, so I'm happy that she kind of died, because, passing and getting over that, because her body was just betraying her at this point. But the fact that I wasn't told, that's the part that kind of got me. I'm like, oh. And so I decided, after learning all of this, I'm not going to hold on to that. That's not going to become my identity. And I will not work out of either anger or disappointment because of that. Therefore, I entered into some dark side of the soul, why, what, where, what, why, and how, and everything like that, and some cord cutting. There's no reason for what she had done, but yet I had to work through that, and my human emotions told me that I needed to exact revenge on a dead person, which didn't make any sense. But my spiritual says it's okay, nothing is wrong, everything is okay. This is all on her. She has to deal with what she did on her actions. You have no part in that, right? I had to separate myself. I had no part in that. Therefore, I can talk to my mother spiritually. There was a long time ago, and this was around her dying, my mother dying. I remember getting dreams from her, and she was like, and then I remember the last dream that I got was, this would be my last transaction. So I kind of knew, actually, that she had passed, but I was kind of like, well, is my sister gonna tell me or not? Well, I got my answer, right? So my mother spiritually, you know, and so now I can talk to her spiritually. I can talk to her anytime I want without my sister guarding the doors anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore I kind of worked through that. But as I was doing that, as I went through that, and then I hit a transition of incredible, the deepest grieving I have ever felt in my life. It was really just, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna make it through. I'm just gonna wait one more day. Maybe it'll break through one more day. So I did a video on my channel, and it kind of explains a little bit about it. And once I gave it to breath, once I gave it to the universe to take care of, I removed it from my consciousness of what was going on with me, and the energy finally moved, right? Our emotions are energy in motion. And once I had done that, the dam came through, it flooded through, I started easing, the pain was easing, and I finally come back. And then, you know, it just fixed my vision where it doesn't matter, you know, in the
Mm-hmm.
long term of everything that I have done in my life and what I'm going to be doing in my life, that portion just does not matter. I knew my mother. I was able to talk to her before my sister and I had this big blow up, and I wasn't able to talk to my mother before she died. And I asked my mother, is anything between us that needed to be fixed? And she said no. So I had an opportunity to have my goodbyes, to have my plate cleaned with her,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So that opportunity was there, and I took advantage of it. So I thought to myself, it doesn't matter. The energy and the process and whatever was going on literally was between my mom and my sister. They have a lot of stuff to work through, and I wasn't one of them. You know, I
I'd
wasn't part of
say.
that. I was not part of that. So I mean, like I said, prior to a little, oh, but after doing the work, because the work is mine, not theirs, I'm able to get through that and come up and really enrich my life and my spirituality and my thinking, and, you know, just really readjust and correct it. And I'm very happy about that. And I think this is what the three really means to me. The number three, that things come in three, that there's a party here, my mother, my sister, and me, you know what I mean? And so it's really profound that I ended up on three. And that's kind of what my lesson is here, is do the inside work no matter what. There's not a thing, there's not a subject, there's not an action, there's not nothing out there that says that you have to have that as your identity. You don't have to be that. You don't have to hold on to that. You don't have to be angry over it. Nothing. There's nothing out there that says that that's what we're supposed to be doing. So there you have it.
And this time, if you've been following many of the other actions that we feel around the blue light, and it's to invoke balance within ourselves, and we're to envision the grace of this upgrade.
Yes.
The peace and the freedom it gives us, and the sparks, and you just did it, the sparks that you ignite and send out from the blue light go to other people, and it sparks theirs, and they begin to see another way of dealing with this,
Yeah.
other than holding it in and blaming themselves, because it's all larger than we are, and we're evolving, and you've just evolved to a whole nother level.
Whole nother level, whole nother plane of existence. I feel cleaner inside. I feel clearer in my mind. I feel like my speech and my communication has cleared up a lot. I mean, there was just so much that kind of came out of it as a side effect of just doing the work. I always encourage everybody, just do the work. I preach it, I might as well do it, right? Don't practicing what I preach.
Yeah, I know. It's really easy to say do it until it smacks you, and then you have to think about, what am I doing now? And now is the time when a lot of the branching apart that started on 8/8 Lionsgate in 2020. Yeah, it was that one. That's where I talked to a couple of the readers, and Danny and I actually did a show on frequencies and splitting apart. And we saw humanity was flowing in a direction like one big march. And there was all of a sudden there's a fork in the road, and you had to pick which direction you were going to go in. And there was no judgment on which way you went. You just picked what you did. And what came out of that when we went longer and longer into the vision is when we hit that spike in the road, that's when things really started to speed up. And all of a sudden, people you thought you would always have with you, or you could figure out some way to get back to, the split got too wide and there was no reaching for them. You had to take your journey and they had to take theirs.
Right. Correct. Yeah, those were not my choices. Those were their choices.
It's just where the universe is. And by making those choices and seeing how to grow, and the number 3 is also the number of communication. It's also the communication is blue. It's the throat chakra. So it all ties together. And 3 is also the strongest base you can build. It's the strongest geometric form. And then, you know, when you go on, if you study numerology or sacred geometry, you go on to the 4, and the 4, you're building a base, but it's not as stable as the 3. You have to continually observe it and take care of it. So that's where you're going to, and you've got a whole new base to live your life from, and it's based on balance.
Yes, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I think about it, and some people that are not there, I go, well, how can I put this without sounding so egotistical?
It's not their time yet.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how it's like I am very grateful for the knowledge that I have.
Right.
Very grateful for the community that I have, the tools that I am able to connect with.
And when I was talking to one person who I know is very powerful, and she said she sat through this whole blue light, the rays coming down the first Saturday in November, the third Saturday in November, and the fourth Saturday in November. And she said, I really didn't feel anything. And I was like, you know, what's going on? And then finally she saw some glimmers, and she realized that the very first rush that's hitting other people, she'd had years ago.
Oh, yeah.
She began to understand her power, and she began to understand how she couldn't outrun it. I was watching some other readers that I don't know talking about this blue light thing that's going on around us now. And one of the things they kept saying is that if you've been hiding from your abilities, if you've been hiding from your intuition, or you just refuse to accept it, it's going to kick in the door and drag you out of the closet where you think you're hidden with this. And those people are in for a much greater shakeup. I'm grateful for the position I'm in, you know, that I can observe it, I can watch it, and I can say, come on over here. You know, why over here? And
I do.
and if I didn't have that level of understanding, I couldn't put together this ceremony, because everything I've written about this, the meditation and everything, was from when I became aware of it. And I just sat down and said, how do I explain this to people? And it just unfolded how to do it. And that 9 candles is a good way to do it. So we're each in our own place. I copied a meme I saw on the internet today from Eric Tolle about Tolle, I guess is how he says the name. I don't know, but I read people, I don't know their names. But he was saying each of us is in the place and the time that is correct for our being, and we're now getting an oomph. And so if you've had a whole lot of oomphs before, you may not feel it the same way. If you've never had an oomph before, or never wanted to think about having an oomph before, you better start thinking, because it's coming.
I think activation is absolutely here and now, and going. And I think the ones that were not supposed to be activated until next lifetime, I think they're being activated now before they leave. I really believe that there's some late activations happening right now. Because readings, I'm like, you're 67 and you're just now getting activated. That used to confuse me until I realized that activation has been, it's needed, has to happen. So
well, I spent some time doing a 12-month reading for a reader not even on this continent. Isn't that fun? And she had been the same way I had been. She'd been in this since really young, except her experience was scary, whereas mine wasn't. I guess I was too bitchy to put up with bad stuff, but she had her stuff, and she said, how could you not be scared? And we figured out that's just each of our paths that we needed to do. And, she's fine with it now. And she said she's glad she saw it, because when people come to me and they're scared of their power, I don't really have a good response, because I can't tell them how to not be, because I don't know how I'm not.
Right, because their fear could be the element that they need. And how am I to tell you to stop being afraid of something that the universe is like, no, they need that. The lessons there. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
And you can't not tell them not to do it. Yeah, because you have no idea what the end result is and what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and we're all individuals. The most interesting thing I think I've heard in the blue light that you've kind of gone through to your extent right now is that we're ditching karma, that we may be the last generations on this earth that are ruled by karma, that this upgrade's going to fix the genetic condition on this planet, that we don't need that anymore to motivate us.
Right.
I don't know how else we'll make our decisions, because I'm an old, and so I don't know. I mean, I'm older than probably most people listening to this. And how do you not understand some kind of karma? But that's one of the theories that's out there. And I was told 2 years ago about someone who was working with the Akashic Records, that they had read in the Akashic Records there would come a time when karma wasn't important. And I said, then what are you guys going to do? You're telling us what we did. And they said, no, you can learn from what you did. You don't have to carry it around like a brick-laden backpack.
Right. I think the karma, I think is what they're talking about, is we're going to have 10 times more the wisdom of our future actions than we are of the fallout of our current actions, I should say. The fallout of our current actions, we're going to have so much more wisdom in that's why karma is probably not going to play a factor in it, is because we know you make a decision, this is going to happen, what say you? And therefore, when that decision was made and this happens, nobody's going to be surprised, because they had that wisdom within them already.
Oh, I think, trust me, they'll be surprised.
They're like, it really happened?
I mean, they'll be surprised for at least a half an hour.
Right? You're like, oh, crap.
Well, I'm not gonna, I don't know how to put this, because I should say I'm really sorry you had to go through that. But I live in a rather disoriented, not connected way to my family. So in a way, I really love being that way, because I don't have to do a lot of things other people do to pay attention to their families and deal with them. So we can just kind of float on in our own little cloud. And so if you want to see Sheila on her cloud, she reads at Celtic Tarot and does marvelous, wonderful things. She reads about a lot of topics I don't. She does a lot of remote viewing, which I can do. And that's another thing that I can do it. And I think it's fascinating, but I think everybody has to play in the garden they play in.
You know what I would like to do with you is
What?
collaborate with you on my channel and throw at you some questions and have you just close your eyes and just do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I've done remote viewing since I was little.
Exactly. Like,
I'd love to do it.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
I don't want to do it on my own.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I would come and throw out some. So let me think about that, probably in about a month. You know how I am.
Well, the other thing I've got doing is I teach tarot now, and I'm going to have another class in that in January. Fantastic. And then I'm also in the process of writing a curriculum to teach numerology, sacred geometry, crystals, crystal forms, what they mean, with the goal of having people learn how to make their own crystal grids.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome.
So, we got a lot of stuff, guys. We're rolling out a lot of new ideas, because I think Sheila feels the same way. I've very rarely have I approached a reader and said, you want to take part in 9 candles? Because I send them a whole worksheet on what I'm thinking about doing and what I see going on. And I rarely have someone say no. And usually it's because of a personal thing going on in their life that they just can't do it.
Right.
So.
Oh, if I'm available, I'm doing it.
Oh yeah, Sheila, I know Sheila's going to be there.
Yeah.
You were back. You were back to me in 10 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you have any other words of wisdom of what you kind of see coming up? And then I think it's gonna get calmer in the next few months.
I think after the holidays are done and over with. Oh, here I go. It does that cycling thing where I'm stuck. Let me know
Yes,
when.
but
Okay,
you
there
look
we are.
very pretty. You
I'm back.
weren't one of those things where people go.
Yeah, I get it. But I do think after the holidays, I think we're going to start on the motion of accountability. And I think the accountability, of course, politically, accountability of ourselves, accountability of everything. And I think that is where everybody is going to start to line up.
Right.
Start marching on the same ideas and the same thinking. I really do. Now there is going to be always some outliers, some people out there like in northern Montana that we just can't do nothing about. But I really do think that it's like the little metric system, right? The energy, the thinking is going to be so profound and so gathering that everybody starts to line up just automatically out of the energy.
Yeah, they're gonna have. That was fun to wander over there, but I think I'm coming back here.
Yeah.
And don't forgive, because what we're going into, and one of the things, the other thing was reasons I think it's going to calm down, is we're going back to being more wholehearted. And instead of, I've got my little wedge of my heart hidden over here, you're going to be feeling more like you can open it up. And when you're wholehearted, you don't make judgments on people. You let them blather on. You realize it's not a place you're going, and it's probably not a place you're going to grab them back from.
Yeah.
And so you just need, if you keep your own temperament and flow with your own water, there's a famous politician in Texas who said, they were talking about going with the flow, and it's when everybody was flooding into more conservatism here. And he said, even a dead fish can swim down the river.
Right. They'll make it. Yeah.
So we're going to choose whether we're swimming up against the stream or where we're swimming, or if we want to go down the river and take an easy swim, whatever. And there's no person that can call a judgment call on that. Right. It's what we're doing, each what we need to do. And that's what I want to let you know. That's part of the blue light. It's giving you the signals to do what you need to do. And I think you're going to be pleased with the outcomes when you tie into it.
Yes.
But if you feel a little kicked in the teeth, come visit Sheila, come visit me, and the other people you're going to see that are going to be part of the 9 candles. There's one person you will not be able to ever really talk to about it. I'm bringing in a person I've identified as a personal angel in my life, an old friend I've had for 45 years. We're going to talk. You guys want to talk about weird crap happening in your lives. She and I are going to talk. And so it's a learning situation. Come again. We're going to blow the candles out now, but bring your intentions tomorrow evening so that we can do all this together. Hey, pretty good. My lung doctor would be happy. And we're going to say goodnight as the prayers we've given up to the universe to seek calmness and adjustment and take on the hard things and convert them into the learned things. And you take care. And thank you, Sheila, for being here.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.